you're in the spotlight.
Hi. I wasn't going to ask anything because I haven't had apple juice yet, but I was wondering if you have an idol or someone that you are fangirling about.
Fangirling.
Someone you would be nervous to meet?
Yeah, and Graham, don't choose me because I'm next to you. I mean, I know that was your first instinct, but it's going to get awkward.
Yes, I guess so. I mean, when I was younger, like certainly in my teens and 20s, events like this just did not exist. So there was never even a possibility that you could meet anybody. I remember I loved a show called Starsky and Hutch. You remember?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you remember Starsky and Hutch? Yeah. And I just thought Paul Michael Glazier was the coolest guy, right? I just thought he was amazing. I had my mother knit me one of his cardigans so that I could look like him. But I was always quite tall, and Paul Michael Glazier was quite small, and I remember thinking that I wanted to be smaller so I'd look more like him, and have curly hair and all that kind of stuff. So if I'd met him when I was a teenager, that would have been pretty amazing. Even now, if I met him now, there are certain people, Diana Rigg, because I grew up with the Avengers with her, Sean Connery, if I met him in person. I saw him in the street once, in Edinburgh, and he was walking, it was late at night, and he was walking down Princes Street, which is the main shopping street in Edinburgh, and he was walking down with his wife, and he's the only person that I have ever seen that just looked like a movie star. I mean, he just did. He just exuded this incredible aura. And I was too shy to say hello. But I would, yeah. I mean, sometimes with people that you really admire, it might be better not to meet them. You know? I mean, sometimes people can be very disappointing. And the confusion sometimes between the reality of what someone's like and how they portray somebody fictionally can be pretty big. You know, that the gulf can be pretty large. I have definitely met some people that's been a little disappointing. I won't mention their names, but yeah, Paul Michael Glazier, Diana Rigg. Diana Rigg, I was in love with, like really deeply. I thought we were going to get married. And, oh yeah, you know. I mean, children, well, me anyway. Can't speak for other children, but me, I entertained it as a realistic possibility. You know, I would have been 10, and she would have probably been close to 30. And I thought, well, I'll wait. So even now, if I met her, and she's got to be in her mid to late 70s now, I would get a little kind of giddy, I think.
Well, Graham, that also explains why you walk around with the ring.
Just in case. Just in case. Just in case she's ready. I don't want to pop the question too early. So, Diana, if you're out there, it's only a matter of time.
Very nice. Do I have to answer that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, all right, sorry. I think mine would be Brad Pitt.
Really?
Yeah, it would. I'm just such a huge fan of his, and
Did not expect that.
Yeah, well, speaking of like movie star quality, if there's anybody that has it, I think it's Brad Pitt. I mean, my God.
Yeah, I can see that.
Expecting more of a response, but no, that's fine.
Brad's great, yeah.
Brad's great.
Sure. Interesting. Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
No,
Should I have chosen a different one, Graham?
No. There aren't, you see, I guess nowadays as well, there aren't many people like that. Mm-hmm. Like real...
Yeah, Leonardo DiCaprio is another one.
Like movie stars.
I should have chosen Leo. I should have started with Leo. Damn it.
Brad, it just like fell flat.
I know, okay. All right.
Yeah, I guess back in the day, there were so many people like that. You know, Burt Lancaster.
Much more character actors now.
Yeah. Right. But yes, I'll take Brad.
Yeah, okay.
It's fine.
Yeah, thank you.
It's fine.
Thank you.
No judgment there.
Okay. I also carry a ring around just in case.
Just waiting.
Cool. Next question.
I'm short, sorry.
That's okay.
Hi.
Oh, hello. It's
Um,
because I look down there because the sound comes out of there, so I'm very, very easily confused. I'm sorry. Carry
Sorry.
on.
I wanted to ask about the character you have played. If you have a favorite and what you like most about them.
Right. Favorite characters? Well, I suppose I'm a little biased with someone like Dougal Mackenzie in Outlander because thank you. I'll pay you later. Dougal, I suppose from an acting point of view, he was such a complicated man that for an actor that's just a great gift to be able to play someone like that. Yeah, so he would definitely be a favourite. Although I have to say that Dromos in Lucifer, playing the demon in the, well, I hope I'm not giving anything away to anybody.
Spoilers.
I'm so sorry. But he was great fun. I loved playing him. Really enjoyable. But so there are different reasons that you enjoy playing stuff, I guess. And you know, yeah. Saint of Killers, I love playing him. I love being that guy, going around just killing people. It's so liberating. You know, it's just they give you the gun and they say, okay, you've got to kill him today, and you're like, yay!
I see Brett agrees with that.
Yes, I do. I didn't want to jump in. I mean, you've got a much more extensive resume, so you're going through all of these, and I'm just like, hey, remember that character I played for 4 or 5 years? That's the one I was going to go to. But yes, killing is fun. Graham and I can definitely agree on that. No, it's great, because you always win the argument as well, right? Yeah, it's fantastic.
You never lose.
No, it's great. I didn't mind it at all.
I agree.
I minded dying. I died twice in my show, and that wasn't fun. But up until then, you get to play the most fun, devious, incredibly cool stuff.
Yeah.
And I should have known that this was all leading to my demise, because what happens in the season finale, the good guys have to win.
Of course.
And so, you know, I was like, man, these things are getting better and better. This is great. And then, then the producers called me into their office and gave me the bad news. Next question, can we move on to the...
Death, yes.
Death.
The amount of times I've died. How many, let me ask you a question.
Yes.
What's been your most spectacular death, do you think?
Oh, that's a good question. I have died in a lot of things.
Yeah.
My first 2 TV shows that I was on, I died. And so when I got Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., my parents were happy that I was at least alive by the end of the episode. After that, we didn't know. The pilot wasn't picked up, anything like that. But, yes, so, I mean, the one that I remember the most was the very first one that I played on Army Wives. Cool. Big fans here. I knew this was going to be silent.
Wow, I had no idea.
I was on Army Wives, and I was shot. I was squibbed 5 times. I think it was 5, and they had the stunt guy come in, and he did all of the stuff, and they did 1 pass with him and 1 pass with me, and that stunt guy ended up being my stunt guy on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. like 4 years later. Yeah, he was my stand-in. He's a great guy. So that's the one that I remember the most. I'm like, what is squibbed? What is, this is cool. This was all great. Yeah, and again, I got to play a really fun character before I died.
Are you not going?
Kind of a serial killer.
I think my personal favourite was being, when I got killed in 24, I was stabbed with a fire poker by Kiefer Sutherland, and then I had
Where was you stabbed?
Throat cut. Yeah, right through the chest with a fire poker, and then my throat was cut.
Oh,
Yeah, that was pretty, it was good. That was a good one. Yeah.
stab through the heart, and you're to blame, yeah.
There you go. Whoa! Who needs to turn the wheel? Sorry, we interrupted the next
I'd like to say that's the last time that'll happen, but I don't want to lie to you. Go ahead.
Hi, this is for both of you. When you get a part and you read the script, do you want to know like where your story arc is going, or do you just want to be surprised?
That's an interesting question. That's a very interesting question. I mean, I come from theater. I went to a school where that's all I did for 3 years. And the cool thing, or the difference that I noticed immediately was, how does it end? How does it, what do I do next? And so it is kind of difficult in the sense that you're working with just the information that you have. It's like all you can, it's like when you're driving at night. All you can really see is what's in your headlights, and that's all the information you have to work with. So I noticed, you know, especially with Grant Ward, who had a past that was hinted at for so long, I just kept thinking every little nugget that I got, oh, he had well, he really hated his parents. Okay, all right, great. Oh, I guess he had a dog. Okay, great. I would build up these little things along the way, and then of course this big thing happens, which was a total left turn, which I didn't see coming, which was I was a spy the whole time. And again, this can't be a spoiler at this point, right? Okay, because the SHIELD agents are in space and doing some weird stuff with aliens, and I don't know what they're doing right now. I don't know. And yeah, destroying asteroids and stuff. I don't know. But at the time that I was on the show, yeah, it was on Earth. And I guess to answer your question, in theater you have a beginning, middle, and end. You have the whole play in front of you, and you generally, and that script doesn't generally change. So I had to sort of adapt when I was, you know, going into the TV world with the way in which things were done. And it's interesting because we know those characters a different way. We're not sitting down for 2 hours of a story, beginning, middle, to end. We're tuning in each week to see how they move their lives forward that week. And then the next week we see how they're moving their lives forward that week as well. And what we get at the end is we can look back and see the story, but really we're just seeing them sort of inch along in their goals. And I think that it's just a different way of telling a story. And in some ways a more intimate story, because you feel like you know those people on TV, I think, in a different way.
Yeah, no, I guess I would... I do kind of like knowing what's going to happen. I knew with Outlander, and I'm a fan of the Preacher book, so I know about that. I know what happens in that. But yes and no, I suppose, is the honest answer. Sometimes I would like to know, and sometimes I love the surprise. But you're right, Brad. Brad's right that doing theatre, although of course, you know, back in the day, Shakespeare, when Shakespeare wrote his plays, they were just given their parts. They didn't have the whole script, so they would just come on. So like the person playing the nurse in Romeo and Juliet thinks the play's all about the nurse, which is a wonderful way of looking at it, because I suppose it is to some extent. You know, that's their part of the story, and the great thing that a writer does is knit all of those stories together and create a very interesting narrative for an audience. But on the whole, I guess I do like to know what's going to happen to me at the end, yes. Mainly death, sadly.
Hi.
Yes, ma'am. Hi.
Okay. My question is for Graham. I would like to know about the preparation for Lucifer, because you played 2 different characters. So I would like to know if you prepare differently for the priest and for the demon.
For the demon, yeah. Now that's a very good example of something that the first question touched on. I didn't know about the second character until around episode 7, so I had no idea that that's where the story was leading. So in that sense, I had no preparation that I could do. For a character like the priest, I mean, you know, people ask that question a lot. You know, how do you prepare for stuff? And I can only speak for myself. All I do is I go on the script, and that tells me what the story is for that character and how it should be played, really. You can make individual decisions, you know, how you pitch it, pitch that character as a priest. But I saw him as a man of great passion and belief. And it's funny, you know, I've been reading like fan reaction to the character, and a lot of them describe him as a villain. And that's so interesting to me, because I honestly, the whole time I was playing him, I never saw him as a villain. I honestly never did. I saw him as a man that was committed to doing what he felt was right, like really deeply, passionately. He wasn't out to hurt people. He did hurt people along the way, and he made mistakes. But, and that's something that I always try and do. You know, I've played quite a lot of villains, and you can never see them as such. Villains don't wake up in the morning and think, oh, I'm going to do something villainous today. They just don't. I mean, it's
What's on the list? Breakfast,
exactly.
breakfast, villainy.
Yes, enslaving an entire nation. Yeah.
Bit of a nap.
They don't. They think that they're good people. You know, even the most awful people in history, that's how they functioned. They felt that what they were doing was right. And so I try and see that in everything that I do when I play villains. I did a show called Colony where I was supposedly a villain. And again, I was like, well, no, I mean, he's trying to protect the Earth in that particular show. But, yeah, but with the demon character, well, I mean, it's just, from an acting point of view, that's a great gift. To be given that kind of a part, because you can go anywhere with that guy. He's just so insane. Or maybe I just decided he was. Yeah, I probably just decided he was insane. And I just had a lot of fun with him. And I think fun is a great part of acting. And if you allow yourself to have fun, that can hopefully translate into something that an audience enjoys. So hopefully that's what happened.
Thank you.
Speaking of demons, hello.
Hi.
Didn't mean to call you
Nice
one,
segue.
but yeah, there we go.
Oh yes, I didn't see the horns, I'm so sorry.
What do you mean? What do you have? Like, so my question is very similar to the ones you asked. Kind of like, I was wondering if Graham preferred the first version of his character or the second one, and how did he play? Like, how did he make them different in his mind?
If I'm absolutely honest, I did prefer my demon, because he's just such fun. He's such fun to play. You know, he's terrible. He's an awful person, but he also, you know, he's having fun, and he really loves, you know, kind of loves Lucifer, kind of. You know, I mean, I know things happen, but you know, he's you know, no.
What happens in hell stays in hell.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. Things are different in hell. Okay. There's different rules. And also, like, just from a costume point of view, I never get to wear costumes like that. You know, full on black leather, the whole kind of biker thing. It's just, you know.
Not in public. Yeah.
Not in public. Yeah. You know, only in my private life, in my room. No, you know, that's the great thing about acting. You get to do some very, very strange things that you don't normally get to do. So yes, I preferred him. And in terms of preparing, I guess, as I said, I suppose if I'm honest, my level of preparation is I just try and be free. I don't know if that makes sense, but I try and arrive on set with a sense of freedom in my mind so that I can take a performance in a number of different directions, so that I don't come, you know, like, this is how I'm going to do it. This is, and just stick to it. And I know some people who do that, and it's very successful. But for me, the more free I can feel from a directing point of view, if somebody's directing me, if they allow me to just go, listen, just see what happens. I love hearing that. And some actors don't. Some actors need to be told, right? No, stand there, speak like this. But I've always loved that freedom. So that's really, I try and empty my mind, if that makes any sense, before I arrive, so that I haven't got preconceptions. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. I think that's good. I think you want to come with ideas, but also be flexible enough.
Yes.
Because often when we're arriving to set, you know, the art directors have been there forever, the set builders have been there forever. You don't know what the limitations are. Yeah. So often, yeah, you do have to be flexible as well. I thought that was a good response. Just saying. Yeah, you're very welcome.
Now, we have a little instruction that we have a last question. I'm so sorry. But where's that coming from? Over here?
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
I just came home from an event in Edinburgh,
Oh, yeah.
Where you let us know that you're going to do a podcast.
Oh, yes.
So
Yes.
it would be lovely to hear how you're going to approach this and where it may be available and how
Okay.
you're doing to this because you don't have a script where you can deliver it on.
That's right. That's right.
That's
Yes.
funny because you didn't ask me about it. That was really weird, but I'd be happy to be a part of it. Graham.
Well, you know, early days, you know, just... No, the podcast is an idea that came up between me and Sam Ewan, that we both have a passion for Scotland, and the purpose, I suppose, of the podcast, if there is one, an overarching purpose, is to celebrate Scotland, really. And so we're going to be looking at it from a historical point of view. So my passion is the history of Scotland, the clans and the clan system and the clan rivalries, the feuds that, well, you know, Italians are familiar with it through vendetta. And vendetta is the same. It's something that lasts sometimes for hundreds of years. Families that hate each other so passionately. And that has shaped Scotland, especially in the Highlands. And I found that very interesting. So we're going to be exploring that, but we're going to be exploring it through the landscape as well. And that's where Sam's passion comes in, because he wants to be going up mountains. And so we're going to try and make it fun. We're not going to script it. We're not going to script our conversations. They're all going to be improvised. And really, we're just going to be drinking lots of whiskey, traveling to amazing locations throughout Scotland, recording what we're talking about, filming it as well. We're going to be doing that in September this year. We're going to be recording and filming it in September this year over multiple days when Sam particularly is free. So he's going to be very busy. But we're going to have a lot of fun. And once we've edited all together, then we're going to start releasing it out there for people to hopefully enjoy and to listen to. But yes, it's a celebration of our country. Yes.
Thank you.
Well, I suppose this is the moment where we slope off. And
Yeah, and I think that we should probably have one more spin of the wheel as we exit. This
you can do it. Your turn.
I'll do it. All right.
Please get drink. Please get drink. Yeah, you see, it's not easy, is it? It's not easy. Yeah, you see? Oh, it landed on a surprise. What? Wait. That's your surprise. So hold on. So you just happened to grab that. But that's no surprise. That's like the opposite of a surprise. So what do we know? It's going to burst.
Yes.
Oh no! So yeah, what do we do to surprise? I don't know what to. Go on. Where's my glass? Here we go. Now, we'll try a different one. This is very enjoyable. I have to say.
For a while, and hearken to me mournful tale about the Emerald Isle. Let's all raise our glasses high to friends and family gone, and lift our voices in another Irish drink.
Cheers, and thank you very much.
Till he wound up in a box, he got a runner in the clouds, met with his delights.
That was a particularly good one.
Closed her smiling eyes.
Wow! Oh, I can hardly find my way off the stage.
Bye-bye.
Everybody else, come on up on stage. Everybody, come on up on stage. You guys are amazing.
This is the best send off we've ever had.
Thank you. And a big thank you to Daniela and her team. Can we have some music, please? Let's get it on! 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, it's a 2. It's a 2. 6, 7. 6, 7. It's a 2. It's a 2. 8, 9,
Would you like some water?
I have a question for you. It is a well known that you have small penis. Yes! How do you remember what it was like to compensate in your daily life? How do you compensate for the size of your penis in your daily life? Yes, because my penis is really small, it's 10 inches long. And it's really hard to say all the units and measurement centimeters. I guess, yes, my penis is actually 30 centimeters long. It's very hard. It's very hard. Right now, it's really hard.
Before actually getting to know each other in the convention circuit. Rob could not. So I would see Rob somewhere, and I like to work in I was like a little talented. So I'm one of those dudes that if I see somebody that I hear and I like their work, I will tell them that I like their work. It's not a competitive business. I'm not in this to be Rob. I'm just in this to act. So I love them. It's great. So I saw Rob somewhere, like, I introduced myself, and I told him who I was, and said I'd seen him in whatever I'd seen him in, that I loved his work. Go away, run into him some other time. I'm like, hey, Rob, Richard, we met at the thing. I said I like the thing, and he was like, I don't remember, I'm Rob. I'm like, okay, you're Rob, right? Yeah, Richard. All right, cool. Next time I'm seeing him, like, hey, man. Remember me? We met? He's like, no, I'm Rob. I'm like, oh, I saw he was a starred in the pilot of a friend of mine who wrote it. I was at the taping and I did the same thing. I'm like, hey, and he's like, ah. I'm like, Reg. I'm like, no. Ah. So then I quit. See, I give up. I go to the movies with my wife. And there's a bar at the movie theater upstairs where you can have a drink before you go into the theater. And I'm sitting there with my wife at a table on this side. And I look over across the bar. Nobody else in this restaurant. Over here is Rob and his wife having a drink. I'm sympathetic to Rob in this story. And so I'm here having a drink with my wife. And I go to the bar. I order a drink. He brings the drink. He's like, and I go, yeah. I'm sitting there. The bartender looks over at Rob's table and goes, is that guy supernatural? And I go, yeah. Go back there. Why aren't you two talking to each other? I said, he never remembers me. The guy's like, yeah, I hear you. I understand. And every time I tell that story, Rob goes, Rich, that's not, I'm pretty sure that, I don't recall if you don't, I'm like, that's not, you don't think that's what happened? That's what, you know, I'm doing that good, Rich.
Jason and I say that to each other all the time. Not because we're is there no more questions? Can we have no more questions? Ask me no more questions. I'll tell you no more lies. Anybody? You really know that song? So bad at this.
Big wheels keep on turning. Carry me home with some I can. Songs about Southland. I miss so bad and once again I'm to sing. Yeah.
There we go.
Sweet home Alabama. Lord, I'm coming home to you. Hanging out in Rome with all y'all. Missing my brother Jared. Let's give him a hell yeah. And I love you guys more than you'll ever know. But right now I gotta go. Sweet home Alabama.
One more time. Oh.
Where the skies are so blue. Sweet home Alabama. Lord, I'm coming home to you.
It's a little small. So this is going, the little white striped guy is going to Jensen, and there was a question that really puzzled you. And feel free to either launch it or specifically you asked a good question.
Should have been a ventriloquist.
Let's see. Well, hello.
Hey, so have you been to Italy before?
Sí, señor. Sí, sí, sí. Señor.
And apparently you're from Mexico?
Grazie, miei amici. Sí, señor. Sí.
So you're kind of a blend of Italian and Mexican. Is that?
Oui, oui, monsieur. Parlez-vous français?
Well, I would say your stripes are lovely. And are you enjoying your time here?
Grazie. Sí, señor. Sí.
Okay.
Adios.
Misha, I have a question.
Yes.
Was it by accident or was it a choice to sound really stupid? Was it the nature of the beast? Or was it just match how you roll?
Well,
No offense, no offense.
no, absolutely not. Not necessary. Here's the thing. I was trying to, the wait staff here is incredibly inefficient.
We can give you some time to think.
No,
We got this one. Mille grazie, signore.
You'll see the episode, in the second to last episode, the character's trying to convince us of something. Cassie's trying to convince Sam that we can do something. But Jensen and I kept on like making funny faces, and like sticking our tongue out and just making really serious faces. And Jensen will do this to him, whenever if Misha's over there, and Dean's doing this, we'll go like this. And so Misha will break. And so when it was Misha's coverage, he actually asked, he was like, can you get rid of Jared and Jensen because they're making me laugh? And so we were like, no man, no, we'll be here for you. And he's like, no, I don't want you here, go. And so Bob, the producer, kicked us out.
And worst of all, I haven't told this joke in a long time, so I know I'm going to screw it up. But here it is. Okay, so picture, if you will, this is the 1800s in America. Still the wild, wild west. And this Hasidic Jewish family is going from the East Coast all the way to the wilds of the West. And they're on a stagecoach. And the father gets up on top of the stagecoach and the stagecoach guy says, look, you see the engines, you got to tell me about it. You got to shoot them. I've already screwed up. So the